I'm Barney Taylor. Welcome back to another episode of In the Record Room, the YouTube show for all things vinyl and all things soul. You can see today that we're doing something slightly different. We're going for what we have all called a Cleethorpes special. And to talk about this place, this idea, this notion, I'm thrilled to be joined by Paul Davis, Paul Duffy, and Peter Dunne. Welcome to the show, everybody.
All right, Barney.
Hi, Barney.
Right.
How's it going?
Oh, these are grand, honest. So. Yeah, no, all good, Barney.
Welcome aboard. Listen, it's really exciting. What we normally do is I have one guest and three records. I've got three guests and one record, Paul. One record. Okay?
Yes. Absolutely. I hear you, Barney. I hear you.
So what we're going to do is we are going to begin at the beginning. I'm not going to ask you about how you started, all of these kind of things. I'm going to say one word and one word only, and that word is Cleethorpes.
Well, laughter, fun, no sleep till Monday evening, pints at the airport,
Of coffee.
doing a Bill Keeley.
Yeah.
Trawler man. Lads, any just jump in at any time.
You're doing a great job, Paul. No, it's just
cheese and tomato sandwich.
It's crack. No, it's savage crack.
I just have to press record and it's fine. So
yeah, no, savage crack from even the week before, the buzz, just the buzz of it, and just from when we meet in the airport to when we come home, we just do not stop laughing. It's just good people. It's like the sign says, good people dancing to good music. It's just fun, and it's so friendly and welcoming, and it's just brilliant. Just brilliant. It's fantastic.
It is a real kind of family atmosphere in Cleethorpes, and it's the kind of place where I've been to other weekenders and lots of venues around the UK, but when I walk into Cleethorpes, I literally go, and that's it. What you wear in Dublin, you're not in Cleethorpes. You're not a chef. You're not a radio producer. You're not an office administrator. You're just a solely in a room, in a big room with lots of hundreds of other solis, and just the atmosphere in the place, and the friendliness. Everybody knows everybody, because I've been going since '95. And there's people I only see once a year. Yeah. And I only see them at Cleethorpes.
Yeah.
And just getting to see those people again, it's just fantastic. And as the lad said, when we meet in the airport, it's just the crack. It's the slagging is flying, and everybody's having a laugh. And it was last year standing in the queue to get onto the plane. I said to Paul Duffy, "Do you know something, Paul?" I said, "You're like the little brother that I never wanted." So, it's just stuff like that we're all talking each other about.
And I love you too.
It's turned into a very different kind of show, hasn't it?
Yeah,
but yeah. I mean, this is my sense of it, because it's something that brings people who live all over this country together to travel, and then it's something that brings people from all over other parts of other countries, and it's a collection, it's a gathering, it's a holiday camp, I think, isn't it? So it has all of the connotations of travel. It's not easy to get to, is it, from Dublin?
No, it is not. No, it is not.
It's easier than it used to be.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, the train is 3 hours, but it goes it literally just flies in, because the crack again on the train.
Yeah.
Before we found out, what was the original way of getting there, Paul? In the early days,
the very first year in 1995,
the Viking ship.
Yeah. Well, you're not far wrong there. In 1995, I went with myself and Owen Delaney went with Tom Love and his fiance at the time, and we got the train up to Belfast. They picked us up. We drove to Stranraer. got the boat from Stranraer to Larne and drove from Larne down to Cleethorpes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the following year, that was 95. In 96, a massive gang of Soulies from Dublin went, and we got the boat to Holyhead. And going from Holyhead to across on the boat was great crack. And going from Holyhead to Cleethorpes, and you're literally going from one side of the United Kingdom to the other. And I was about 8 million train changes, and it was great crack. We're all having great crack, and it was brilliant. And then Monday, with no sleep, and we had a massive party on Sunday night. I think I got about a half-hour sleep on the Monday, getting from Cleethorpes back to Holyhead.
Yeah.
When you're so tired, you feel sick.
Yeah.
It was just horrendous. And then, after that, we start flying to Leeds, Bradford, because looking at the map, Leeds, Bradford is closer to Cleethorpes. But it was like you had to get a taxi from the airport to the train station, which was 40 quid or something.
Yeah.
And there was about 10 of us, so we had to get 3 taxis. And then a few years later, we were talking to Pip Moore, and he said, "Why are you going to Leeds?" And we said, "Because it's closer to Cleethorpes." He says, "You can get a train from Leeds, from Manchester Airport, directly to Cleethorpes." Oh, really? Can we? So that's what we've been doing. 40-minute flight now to Manchester.
Yeah.
Straight down into the train station, and you're on the train straight directly to Cleethorpes for 3 hours.
That must have been there must have been a separate conversation, because I was living in Manchester for about a year. I was working over in the UK, and got off the first time getting a train from Manchester Airport into Manchester city centre, obviously to get the tram back to my place, because at that stage the tram didn't go out to the airport. So I was just walking to the platform, and I was just walking by, and I saw a name that I recognised. I was like, Cleethorpes? What? And I text Paul straight away. I was like, do you know we can get a train directly from Cleethorpes or from Manchester to Cleethorpes? He was like, yeah, Pip told me. I was like, grand, yeah, just once we're all on board, that's all right.
So no, it's not that difficult now to get there. You know?
But that's
the hardest part is keeping up with Paul Davis' little legs, because he just runs from the plane. So you chase him to the airport, then you chase, and he will wait on nobody. Like, everybody is standing looking at you saying, he's gone again.
I'm not missing that train. I'm not missing that train. I'm not missing that train.
In fairness, last year, Paul, you were on the ball. We got the train, and they all missed it, because they wouldn't hurry down the stairs. They missed it by a second.
Was it the last year or the year before? Now, I organise everybody's kind of travel and tell them what to do and when to book and all.
Because you're great.
We love you.
Yeah. And I told everybody what to do and how to book their stuff and all that flight. And then when I was talking to Tony Hannon, he said, "Yeah, Grant, check me bag in." I said, "What do you mean you've checked your bag in?" He said, "Is that not what you're supposed to do?" I said, "No." I said, "We don't have time for you to be standing around a baggage car."
Not if you're running. Of course you don't have time.
And I said, "Tony, I'm getting off the plane and I'm going." I said, "If you're not on that train, you're getting the train on your own." So after months of preparation, months of telling everybody what to do, when we landed in Manchester, it's every man for himself.
Well, that's nearly as bad as a certain other person didn't book their flight to the 100 Club.
Yeah.
They didn't book their flight.
Yeah.
Did we not discuss that before, Barney? No.
No,
it wasn't discussed
right.
before. Do we want to hear this, or do we want this for another episode?
Oh no! You want to hear this one? Yeah, this is funny.
Brilliant.
So, it wasn't the anniversary. It definitely wasn't the anniversary.
It was just an IR.
But this is dedication.
It's all dedication.
March or April night or whatever it was. Anyway, these two lads were coming with us. So the kicker in all this was, I was the instigator of the flights. I went on, booked the flights, and screen grabbed.
You didn't.
Shut up, you.
Yeah, you didn't.
Okay, this is like a detective story.
Hold on. I booked the flights, screen grabbed the two lads, going, "Lads, this is the flight that I'm on. Away you go, book away, good to go, 100 Club, here we go, way." So it got to the week of the nighter, and do the way like in the lead up when you book your flights in the 2-3 week lead up, you get an email from whatever airline you're going with, upcoming trip, la 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 la, whatever. Didn't get anything like that. So logged on the Friday morning, going, I haven't got any updates. I'm really worried. Logged on, went on to Ryanair and had a look. Nothing. There was no upcoming trip. I didn't actually click the final book the flight.
So you didn't book your flights?
I didn't book it. No.
Yeah.
But I booked the flights.
So you were due to leave the day you realised you hadn't booked the flights?
No, I was just, so that was the Saturday night. It was the Friday out. It was the Friday morning that I realised.
So look, the obvious question is, what did you do? Did you get the Viking boat?
So what I did was
I booked the flights.
Can I just interject there for a second?
You can.
In true camaraderie fashion, we said, we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yeah.
So I started looking at every kind of connotation going. But now it was a rugby weekend as well. So the flight I think there was a match on in London or Wales. I don't know which one it was. So all flights were ridiculously expensive at that stage. So for about a half hour, I was like, that's it, it's toast. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. And then booked the boat. I got the boat over to, so I was like, no, screw it, I am going on this trip. So got the boat to Holyhead and then was going to get in the train, did all the timings and was getting the train down to London. I was like, right, okay, if I get there, it was the 2:00 sailing. We get off, we dock at 6 o'clock, 10 to 6 o'clock. The train is at 6:30. I get into London for about 10:30. You know, screw it, I won't go with any food. I'll just go straight to the club, get in the queue, venue, and I'll see the look on these two lads' faces. It'll be amazing, brilliant. I did get on the boat at 2:00. We did leave at the right time. We docked late, so therefore I was late getting off. And I was like, that's grand. I'll get the next train. It's fine. What I didn't know at that time is if you miss the 6:30 out of Holyhead, that's it. There is no other way of getting to London on a Saturday night. There's no other permutation of trains. There are other trains, obviously, but there's no trains that will get you in to a connection on time. The best I could do was train to Birmingham. That got me into Birmingham at about 10 past midnight, and then had to get a taxi down. And I remember on the way texting Aidy going, listen, I know you have a 3 o'clock cutoff. If anybody arrives at 3 o'clock or after, you can't get in. I'm on the way. So, and the annoying thing was, I had text Peter. Why are you laughing? I had text Peter going, I'm on the way. I'm coming.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell Davis. I am coming.
In case you don't make it.
Yeah. No. Well, not in the case I didn't make it. I was fully sure that I was making it. Remember, this was 2:00 in the afternoon when I was setting sail from Dublin, going, this is wonderful.
The lads are going to be surprised.
So spent. There was another guy that I had met on the boat. He was going to an Arsenal game the Sunday, so he had to make it to London as well.
Yeah.
So the two of us teamed up and got a taxi. 300 notes.
Of course.
In the taxi.
Of course.
So about what did I spend? About 450 overall on 3 hours dancing in the 100 Club.
And then how did you get home?
I got the train journey from London up to Holyhead. Fantastic. It was lovely. Yeah. And I got a cabin on the way back as well, just from my head.
Well, you'd spend all that money, you may as well have bought the boat, mate.
So the way back was fine.
Because you knew I was caught, because I knew you were coming, right? Yeah. I was like a child waiting at the door for Santi to arrive, looking around, trying not to tell Paul Davis, right? Saying, I know something you don't know. Saying, 80, telling the bouncers, this lad's going to be here. Make sure you let him in.
And then when he does arrive, I'm so surprised I jump up and give him a big hug. And Peter Dunne, like a big baby, I never get a hug off you. You never hug me.
But you see, this is the journey, and I'm going to get metaphysical for a moment. This is the journey in a nutshell, isn't it? Because this is something that means so much to all of you, as it means so much to all of us, that you do what it takes, and you do what it takes to get to where you want to be. And I think that it's something that speaks volumes about a lifetime's dedication, I think, to this particular area of music, because we could have been doing another show, we could have been talking about a heavy metal gig, and we could all be sharing stories about when we raced to see Iron Maiden and all these kind of things, but we're talking about soul music, and we're talking about the fact of going to the 100 Club, which is, to all intents and purposes, one of the sources of all things soul. But that brings us then also to Cleethorpes, because as we're describing, Cleethorpes is about the music as well. You wouldn't put yourself through all that trouble if the music was terrible. So talk to me about what Cleethorpes means to you in terms of soul music, and then that'll spin us gently round to start looking at Paul's 55 singles, and the rest of you, you're one each. But just talk to me about, because most of these places are synonymous with sounds, periods of time in musical history. What does Cleethorpes mean musically to the three of you?
Well, Cleethorpes is, in a nutshell, the 100 Club goes to the seaside.
Right.
You've got 80 DJing, Butch, Mick Smith has DJ'd there. Not so much. He does every year now. He DJs every year. Ian Clark used to DJ there regularly in the 90s, and it's obviously when AD was running it, you had Row at the door. The girl who takes the money at the door of the 100 Club, she would be in the office giving out the bands and all that. So it's that whole real 100 Club family go to Cleethorpes for the weekend. It's the 100 Club, goes to the seaside. It's that weekend away, and you're getting a lot of the music that will be played at the 100 Club, but you're also getting the whole kind of spectrum of the big oldies that were played on the scene from Stafford and Wigan and wherever else, and it is just that it's carrying that family feeling from the 100 Club just up the coast.
But the modern room is super. The modern room is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like I spend most of my time in the modern room, to be honest. But it's just like the modern room is just like a party. You think you're at somebody's birthday party. Yeah. It's just buzzes, and it's so friendly. Modern room is fantastic, and the actual venue itself, the dance floors are just phenomenal. They are just brilliant. Yeah, fantastic dance floors. So
the dance floor in the modern room is just super. You just
it's brilliant.
Glide on it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the difference between the main room is very serious.
Yeah.
It's serious soul. He's dancing to serious soul music, and then you go into the modern room, and you've got two gobshites like me. Sorry, you have two odd fellows. Like
two clowns.
Two clowns. That's the one. You go into the modern room, and you have two clowns like myself and Paul getting everybody in a big line, kind of moving up and down like this, And,
line dancing?
Well, no, it's kind of we just kind of do a funky kind of left to right kind of shuffle, but everybody's in a big line doing it.
Right. Okay.
And if you try that in the main room,
I love the way I love Barney's right. Okay.
No, it is funny. People throwing bottles at you in the main room when they were doing that, but in the modern room, it's just nobody cares. It's that party central, And, and it's all just good fun music, good fun dance music.
Yeah. And you are guaranteed to hear a record. You will hear at least one record that you haven't heard you're gonna go, oh my God, in the modern room. You will hear something because
on that
comes out,
on that, it's a great lead into. I don't know whether did any of you pick Lady Ray?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't know.
I was going to say Lady Ray as well, because that was
I'm even getting goosebumps now. That was just incredible. That was an incredible moment that I don't think any of us will forget. I don't know what DJ played it, but as soon as it dropped, we were all. It was just a magical moment that we were all in there.
Yeah.
And when it dropped, we all looked at each other and went, like, just sheer amazement, going, "What is this? This is amazing!" And it is a great record.
No, it is.
Yeah,
a great
we
record.
want that. Yeah.
It was just a magical moment, and I think that's one of those moments that sums up the modern, where yes, you do go there to hear House for Sale, and you will get new releases as well, but then you'll get stuff like that where it just blows your mind.
And then Super John Dunne straight away. We said, "John, can you get that?" And he went and he sourced 10 copies because we all wanted it.
Yeah, no, I first heard it. Frank Franco dropped it at D8, and he had said to me, "Oh, this was a big record over in Cleethorpes or whatever it was." And that's the first time I heard it played out. And it is that opening, isn't it? And I can imagine it in a big room on a big floor where it just goes do 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 whatever. You know, it's just that moment at which when you hear that record, and then I'm guessing it's the same as everybody everywhere. You're looking at each other going, "What's this?" And then it's trying to find it, isn't it? And were they generous enough to tell you what it was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because part of the game sometimes is just not tell anybody, isn't it? But that's a different kind of sense, I suppose, in some ways. I mean, it's a fascinating.
Does that really exist anymore?
A little piece. It does a small piece.
I think it does. I think if you look at... Yeah. Go on, Pete. Sorry.
No, there are some lads playing cover-ups. Like, there's one or two in the 100 Club that were covered up. And even when you try to, Shazam them or something like that, like, it's just because it was obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But no, there is a bit, but I think the internet made it a lot easier for people to, to source records. It also ruined a lot of the perception of it. Like, I had a record for years that I thought was fantastic, and then I made the mistake of Googling, like, it was Chicago Soul, and I made the mistake of Googling, and I had these two, like, dinner ladies, just these two big white dinner ladies singing Walking Tall, and it was just the voice just didn't go with it, so I just don't do that anymore, you know.
No, it is a strange one. When you look at the Facebook playlists page, you often see you, and it's I was talking to someone else for another episode, and they were telling me they spent 15 years trying to find out what a record was because they adored it, and I think it was partly the fun that his friends were having with him where they just wouldn't tell him, but it's something that goes on for an awful long time. So you know what I'm going to ask you next. You know that's the reason I've invited the three of you onto the show this afternoon. I have asked you to choose one record each from your collection that you feel is synonymous with Cleethorpes. I don't mind who goes first, but who wants to go
first? I'll go first.
Thank you very much.
Just in case. Okay, the record I picked, right?
Yeah.
Is just, to me, it screams Cleethorpes Modern Drum.
Perfect.
Now, it's not expensive. It's not an expensive record. It's not a rare record.
Yeah.
But it is a fantastic record. And the reason I picked this particular record was because I remember being in the Modern Room. For some reason or other, at certain times in the Modern Room, I'm there quite a lot when we go over there, right?
Yeah.
And at certain times in the Modern Room, you look around and all their gang would be there.
Yeah.
For some reason, at a certain time, I don't know why, it just seems to be that way. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just in my mind, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at this record. I remember looking at when this record was being played. I looked around, and I remember like the fun we were having. There was me, John Dunne, Paul Duffy, Paul Davis. There was a couple of the girls was there. There was a big crowd. There was a lot of us there.
Yeah.
And the crack was 90 and I'm really fond. One of my favourite DJs would be Steve Womble.
Right.
You know, he's really good.
Yeah. And
the thing about this was when you're having so much fun, and you like, and your guy puts the work in to play the record for the crowd.
Yeah.
And you look up and you see him smiling because he feels, look at this, it's good for him. It's nice as well, you know. But this record anyway, right? This record is just like, you wouldn't get a credit card between the people on the dance floor when it comes on. And it's like being at a Clash concert because you don't even get your pole going. you know, right? And right.
Go, what have you got? Come on.
Archie Bell and the Drells, where will you go when the party's over?
Oh, come on. Right, that's it. Show over.
And,
we can't top that.
Right, and it's just, I remember looking around and thinking to myself, oh my God, like, this is just, this is it. Like, this is soul utopia at the minute. This is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's just, and every time you go, right?
Yeah.
And it's played in the modern, it still does that. It still does it.
Yeah.
It still does it. But I remember, see, with me, you turned around and said to me about a person, right? To me, straight away, my friends, I would remember, I associate a person with a song. Like we all do, we associate time with a song.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you a quick one. I remember Jerry Deegan, a fellow we palled with years ago, and Mark, Lord rest him. Mark had come up with a new dance move, and we were at the line carpet in Jerry's house, but we hadn't nailed it down or anything. Yeah. So Mark decided to do a spin, but the carpet went with him. You know what I mean? You know, you like that, like, you know, things like that, you know. Or what was it? The famous one. We were at a soul night, and he was dancing to I think it was Cool Jack. It was Cool Jack, and he done a kick, and his shoe came off and just clattered this lad on the head. You know, so but when you think of records, it does it brings stick, and that record, that record will always remind me of the gang of Irish people that go to Cleethorpes and just and the parade, the chorus, and you're jumping up. Where will you go? And the party over. You know? And then of course the Irish people have to say something for me. Home, you know, things like that, you know, but like. It's just, you know, it's just, you're looking around and all your friends are smiling. Yeah. A DJ that you really like is smiling. Yeah. And everything is just good. It's just good.
Amazing. That's, I mean, you've really captured the spirit of that record and such an evocative relationship between, and as you say, every time it drops, people will always dance. I mean, there are some records that you hear all the time that you can kind of take it or leave, but that will, because it brings you with it as well, doesn't it? It really, it's just, and then there's a call and response and all of that.
But it has, well, they all call it the hook now, but Joey Martin touched on it. When we were kids, we used to call it the bit. Yeah. You know, hear the bit, which is the hook, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it has it from, when it eases in the instruments, and then it grabs you, like, you know?
Yeah, no, so absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Listen, the bar is now this high. Who wants to follow Peter?
I'll
go ahead.
I'll let Paul Davis do that.
Come on, Paul Davis. Here we go.
God, I don't know how I can follow that. There are so many records that remind me of Cleethorpes.
Pick one and shut up.
What he said.
I started going in '95, and a lot of the tunes that became really big on the Dublin scene, we first heard in Cleethorpes. Wales Wallace, somebody I know, we first heard in the modern room, in the main room in Cleethorpes. We first heard that one. It's on Jaywalking.
Continental Four.
The Continental Four, The Way I Love You, we first heard in Cleethorpes. And there's so many records. And I was lucky enough to be asked to DJ in Cleethorpes in '98. And I've been DJing there ever since. One particular record I always associate with the main room in Cleethorpes was and it's as far as I know, it's only been played there once by me. Because I was in Los Angeles in May before Cleethorpes that year, and I got an album, the Supremes' 25th anniversary album, which nobody kind of knew in the UK existed. And there was a record on it called, a track on it called "Ooh Wee Baby" by the Supremes. Now, I played that during my set in Cleethorpes, and I announced it as "Ooh Wee Baby" by the Supremes. And then I was told when it came off that Ginger Taylor had been playing that covered up for months. So innocently, I burst Ginger Taylor's cover up. Didn't know, but there are so many records. But I'm not picking a record from the main room. I'm picking a record from the modern room. When it comes on, and because it's kind of got a bit of a slow intro, people will start coming and onto the floor, And then when it kicks in and it lifts up, it lifts everybody in the room up.
Yeah.
And again, I think it was Steve Wumble that I first heard playing it, but I'm sure a few of the other DJs have played it.
Yeah.
But he's standing there on the stage, as Peter said, and he's just smiling. And I've played it in Cleethorpes in the Modern Room myself as well, and seen people dancing to it. And to get that opportunity to play a record that reminds me so much of, it really is the place I love, Cleethorpes, but the Modern Room in the Cleethorpes even more so. When this record starts, the intro to it, it just kind of drags everybody onto the floor.
Yeah.
And it's Tell Me Houston, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
What a record. What a record.
Yeah.
It does describe the feeling you get, having been out all night Saturday night, and then Sunday morning and you're still buzzing and you've had such a great time at the all-nighter. And no matter who plays it in the Modern Room, and it could be played at an all-nighter 2 or 3 times, it will still drag everybody onto the floor. And it's just such a phenomenal record, and fairly big now in Dublin as well. Haven't heard it there. A few of us got copies and started playing it.
Yeah.
So that was my one.
It's a great choice. Yeah. So, Paul, I hope you're feeling the pressure of going third, because the two people preceding you have just kind of slammed Monster.
All right, I have this. It's all right, lads.
Now,
all right.
Before we start, I'm going to say, we're all going to say one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Because I know, just down off of the camera, you've probably got about 10. Okay. So,
one.
Here's the moment. Paul Duffy.
So, for me, there's two things. There's party songs, and then there's the what I love about Cleethorpes is especially the Saturday and Sunday afternoons. I'm a lover of the crossover and the sweeter side of soul. Yep. So when you go to the nighters, yes, you get rare stuff. You get pounding 4/4 to the floor stuff. And I think we're all getting to, so years ago when I went 99, 2000, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think when the older that you get, the older that we're getting now, it's more the less hammering stuff is sort of getting pushed back, and it's more the sweeter side of stuff that I'm loving.
Yeah.
So there's a certain vibe and there's a certain feel to the afternoon sessions on the Saturday and Sundays. And what I love about the Saturday, especially the Saturday afternoon sessions, because it's sort of like club soul from around Europe. Yeah, there's Spanish lads, French lads. There's us. There's the Hinkley lads are always on the bill every year, and they do a sensational job. So it's just it's the vibe of it is always that slower paced, mid tempo, generally girly stuff. So I could have gone down that road, and I had a few records. I had Clara Hardy, I had Bonnie Herman. That's where I heard Bonnie Herman first. However, come on. However, it is Sunday night main room in Cleethorpes that is just that little bit special. And it like actually today there's videos, there's memories on Facebook of 3 years ago, which was 80's last one. It was the 25th one where that was his final one. And the videos that are going around, just so emotional. But the one record that he will play this, he'll start it off and he'll just come on and he's like, okay, it's Cleethorpes, it's main room, Sunday night party. And he'll play this. Frankie Valli, Ready Now. Yeah. Okay. And it's just that. It's a party. It's party central. And it's just as soon as it comes on, you're ready now. And it's as soon as that comes on, you're like, whatever you're doing, whatever drink you have in your hands, see you later, it's gone. And you're gone onto the floor. And it creates that atmosphere of just, this is an absolute and utter party. Yeah. And it's while what Paul was saying earlier on, where the serious soulies are in the main room and then the party is in the modern room. That is true. That is true. Yeah. All weekend until the final spot in the main room at Cleethorpes on the Sunday night, and it's all bets are off. Like I remember, like on that post on Facebook, Mick Smith played Young Hearts Run Free.
Yeah.
In the main room, during his spot, and it's that sort of thing where, yes, the serious solies and original vinyl only, and is it a demo or is it a first issue? That goes out the window on a Sunday night. That stuff goes out the window, and it's just party. And that Frankie Valli song sums everything up about going. You can leave the politics, you can leave the serious stuff at the door. Go to the bar, get a pint, and get on the floor because we're having the crack. That's what Cleethorpes is for me.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, and I've been really thrilled to hear the three of you tell me, a relative stranger, some of the things that really kind of have made you as people in many ways, the memories, the experiences, how it all goes round and constellates around you like satellites. And it's about love and memory and people you love and people who are no longer here. But it is also about music, and it's about dancing. And I speak for yourself, Paul, about getting older, because I'm always going to be 25, never going to ever age. But one of the things that's beautiful about hearing you tell the stories is just that it's always about being with other people. Because you can listen to these records on your own, and we do, and we have, and we all have playlists and stuff. But it's about the Dublin crew. It's about people, Paul, you were saying you only see once a year. It's about people who you go, next time you go, you know they're not going to be there. And that's what's so powerful about these stories. And it's been a real thrill listening to the three of you tell your stories, because you tell them as if you were 16. You're still excited about it, and you're still passionate about it. So on behalf of me and all of our viewers, Peter Dunne, Paul Duffy, Paul Davis, thank you very much for joining me in the record room.
Thank you very much for having us.
Here, it's all there in this. It's PD, PD, PD.
You've only got that now, have you?